Hello everybody, this is Excalibur from Excalibur Zone Gaming, and I'm going to turn this down because we do not want a bajillion audio effects jumping up all over the place. This is Protocol E by Quantum Shade Interactive. And it is another control where you have to use some you have to use a joystick. So we're going to go to WASD, which is the stupidest thing on the planet. And I turned the sound down because I am tired of dealing with audio that you cannot adjust. So we're going to go back here, and where is the options? I see sandbox and intro, I see defense, and I see survival. I don't see anything that allows you to turn the audio up or down, left or right, or anything. I'm going to turn the audio all the way off because it is stupid to not have this in here. This may be beta, and if it is, then well, it's a public prototype number 4. So one of the first things you have to put in is the ability to turn the audio up and down. Turn the volume up, turn the volume down. And the other one is to build in-game, not through the Unity or whatever interface that you first load the game up in-game ability to change the controls. Now that I've got those diatribes out of the way, this is an indie game. Let's play and review. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my experience as a master's degree, with my master's degree in computer science and my all but dissertation in PhD minus paper, for user interface and user experience. And I'm going to give as much constructive criticism as I can as I play the game. It's going to be a 20-minute to 30-minute rundown. We're going to play the game, and I'm going to critique it as we go along. And at the end, I'm going to give a score of 1 to 5 in half-star increments on whether I had fun, whether I would recommend the game, and whether I'd play it again. So we're going to start off with a sandbox intro, and we're going to see, it says WASD to move. This is slow, and WASD is this stupid control system. So what are you supposed to do here? Let's go up and click. Alright, I guess you have to fire at these guys, and you gain control. Alright, so you have troops, paint the ground. So we do this, and they will move to where we want them to go. Alright, so this is actually one of the cool things that I liked about this game. It's an RTS with gesture-based stuff, and you go in and you have to take out the enemies, and you do it by painting your stuff. You get all these troops and all that. Now rotate camera is, looks like you hold the right mouse button and you do that. There you go. So there we go. We rotate the camera, and we can do stuff. I guess this is the command tower. This is so slow. But it's more a MOBA than anything, if you ask me. So we'll put our troops there, and it looks like we have a bunch of things here. Experiment with these. What are the tooltips? They're target tag, formation tray, raise the value. Okay, this is where you tell where things run away or whatnot. What are these things? Alright, I wish you could just click and go instead of using WASD. WASD is the stupidest control scheme ever put on the planet. That is my personal opinion, just so you're aware. Because it I can't use it to properly control things. Okay, I guess right-clicking in an area allows me to move the command dude. Let's right-click there. Okay, yeah, right-clicking lets me move my main dude wherever I want. Alright. What's this here? Get more troops. Okay, this is a sandbox mode. Alright, we'll see what this does. Let's go up and we're going to do it. I like the painting feature. Although I really wish you had a way to... Oh boy. I like the painting feature. I wish you could click and drag and select people. So here we are. We're attacking these tanks and they're taking out our dudes. And this is Who's Who Wants It sandbox. So there we go. And the goal is, I think, to keep these things in your color. There we are. Let's go back over here and take a look. I do like the wireframe graphics a little bit, and hopefully things will be a little bit better later on. Let's see what that does. Oh, that's another command tower. Command center, I guess. Alright, so let's go back out to defense. And alright, defend the node. There is no mini map. I can't see anything, and here we are. Make sure that the node is defended. Keep a watchful eye. Alright, we got some dudes over there. Let's set up a line of defense here. And they got that right there. Let's see here. This is the number of ships we have, I guess. There we go. Those guys are fine there. And I'm going to go here. That is interesting. And I have the sounds turned down because, well, I have to do the system sound all the way down because it's too loud and you couldn't adjust it in game, which oh, here we go. Let's go ahead and set up a line here, and I'll keep an eye out around, see what happens. Uses this to tag priority targets. Okay, it's already done. Oh boy. Let's get a line up here. Come on. Alright. There we go. Select our units and then start whaling. Select the units and start whaling. We'll get rid of these guys. Where's my command base dude? I don't know. Come on. I guess I can't do anything because he got destroyed. And yeah. No, we do that. We do this. Make sure those guys are dead. And how do we get formation tray once planted? You can drag this around to manipulate formations. I can't turn the screen anymore, so I guess it's because the dude died, the main guy. I can't see. I've got this little yellow dot, but nothing I can do with it. Alright, well, that's disconcerting, and let's go ahead and paint dudes right here. Paint these dudes here. See how well this works out. Nope, we're going to lose it. Defense fail. Because I lost control of the camera. I can't turn around. That's something, if you've got a unit that is your main command unit, it's okay to put your screen, set your screen up to follow it, but always let us use the camera, because I can't do anything here. Nothing at all. Nothing. Nada. Zilch. So this has become pointless, and my dude does not regenerate. Let me see what happens if I do that. There's only one guy left, and I've got one tower left, and I've got the Martian walkers coming. There we go. We'll see what happens. Nothing. The game isn't even ending. It's just bringing in more units, and nothing I can use to select because I've got 0, 0. This does nothing at all. Formation tray. That does something. You can move it around. Clicking on it does nothing. Okay. So let's go ahead and get out of this and try defense again. Now, there we go. We've got the model. Yeah, you've got the camera tied to this dude. Stop it. It's not necessary to do that. Let's try the survival. Now survive. I hate WASD. Let's go back. And we'll get these guys. Now, what is it to survive? Do we have to go around and kill all those other things? So that's what I'm going to do. Come out here. There we go. And that's pretty much all I know how to do, because there's absolutely nothing that says what we have to do. There we go. Surround him with those little tanks. And how long are you supposed to survive? I don't know. So, let's see here. We've got these dudes here. We got 3 of these guys. Let's see. Then we've got my main base. Oh, there we go. 6 and 3. We're not going to live too long. And 4. Let's see about going out here. We can move while we do this. That's awesome. Well, we can paint while we move. There's only one left that can't do anything because we're being attacked by tanks. Alright, so that's one way to get stuff, and that's to take over the different dealies. Let's see if I can get by. I can. And we're going to get up here and take this, which is going to give us more dudes. Not a lot, but more. Here we go. Set up a line, and I will back up. And now while they're concentrating on the little dudes, I'm going to come up here and see what I can do. Alright, we're going to go grab this. Alright, and then we're going to go over here and grab this one. We're probably not going to survive. Yeah, there we go. Now you don't... you've got to end the game. I know it's a prototype and it's beta and all that. I don't know what the 340, I guess that's the number of seconds I survived. Yeah, I don't know. And play with these, that made no sense. The tutorial was okay. And the game itself is okay. It's not your traditional RTS. Definitely not your traditional RTS. There are some glaring fixes that need to be done here. One, you need to put options into the game. That's one of the first things you should do with any game. Make sure that people can adjust the volume, they can change the graphics resolution, they can change key mappings. Those are the very first things, because that's what's going to bring them back when they become comfortable with the game. I'm not comfortable with WASD. Stop making it a default. I know that Quake started it back in the day, but the guys at id didn't type because they don't know what the home row is. The home row is ASDF JKL semicolon, and your fingers naturally rest on the ASDF when you have your hands on your keyboard. That allows for I set it up as A for back, S for forward, D for left, and F for right, and that's strafing, and then I use the mouse to look around. And you should do that as well. Stop making the guy turn. Have him go forward, have him back up. Don't turn around and change the direction that front is. And left and right should be strafing, because you're using the mouse. You're changing the orientation of what is front to the dude with the mouse. So because you're changing the camera. I like the idea of the painting. It works really well. I like it, but I would like a little bit more control over what troops respond to the painting. The little squares down at the bottom, yeah, they're okay. They're all right. But you don't get all of them when you select it, and I think that's by design. But you should be able to select the units and then paint their formation. And by select, you need to do a rubber banding where you rubber band around the units you want to command and then paint their formation. Almost every single RTS has the ability to select one or more units with a selection box. That's called rubber banding. And you should not go away from that. The formation thing is what makes it unique. Being able to just say, okay, select these guys, and then broop, you put in a bunch of dots to where you want them to go. And they will go to those dots. And that's the thing that I see best about Protocol E. The graphics are definitely need some improvement. You can tell that it's like a tech demo prototype thing, and I know it's going to grow and get better. And I'm not usually affected by graphics at all. I thought they were fine for what you're doing. What I think would be awesome is if you took some shmup ideas and gave alternate weapons. So you select your dudes, and then you paint where they want to go, and then you can use like the middle mouse button or the scroll wheel to select whether they're going to do main or alternate weapons, and that way they might have more powerful ground attack with a weaker air attack, or a greater air attack with a weaker ground attack, that kind of thing, and you can swap between them. It's a little more micromanagey than what I think you want, but I think that if you do that, it would be a little bit more interesting. Right now, everybody's firing lasers. Red for the enemy, blue for you. And that's okay. That's okay. But I see that there are a lot of things you could do to make that more interesting to the player. In terms of what you're selecting down at the bottom, I'd like to see a nice proper HUD. That would be awesome. That way you could go ahead and see exactly how many units you have, what they look like, and where they are in the map. You need to get a mini map in here so you know where the enemies are coming from, because relying on the camera when the camera dies, when your main dude dies, is unacceptable. One, if your main dude dies, he should be able to respawn if you have any units and a pylon nearby. So one of those little dudes gets promoted to the big guy, and have him heal up or something like that. Two, when you're in the vicinity of your own pylons, you should heal back a certain amount. That would get rid of micromanaging of having to individually heal your units. I think a leveling system would be great, so your units get stronger and stronger over time and are able to better interact with the enemies coming at them. I would like to see more maps come out of this. That would be great. That'd be awesome, actually. And I'd like to see a map maker so that people can make their own maps. I'd like to see multiple levels, because right now it's just flat. I'd like to be able to go down and up and see different terrain types and stuff like that. Sort of like a MOBA, where you jump into the cockpit of one of the units that you normally command on a much more macro scale. And that's pretty much what I see as your main command unit. It's a MOBA unit, and you're going around as that unit. It would be pretty cool if you went more in that line with using the other units as your subordinates that you could paint around, or they would follow you in that painted initial formation that you set up. That would be great. As far as the game controller, people, please stop making the left analog stick the default move button. I know you can change it in the opening GUI, and that's fine. It's fine. Big thing though, stop it. You've got to put the controls in the game, because if you have to quit the game to change the controls, to go in and play the game, and then you find that the controls aren't working in the game and you have to quit the game and then go out and change controls again, and you hit the wrong button again, you see what's going on. It's going to become too tedious to customize controls in the game without having it directly in the game. And I would like to see both the analog stick and the D-pad in any and all games that use gamepads for movement. I'd like to see those two things be default, so you can use one or the other. Because sticking just to the joystick is kind of crappy for me, because I hate it with a passion. It's not precise enough for me. It's analog. Digital is you go in this direction or you don't. Analog is you go in this direction at a certain amount, at a certain speed. So if you have any game that ever uses keyboard controls, you don't want to give an analog stick the same control, because an analog stick is a measured a ramping effect. So you push a little bit, you go slow, you push forward more, you go faster. So it adds a vector, an acceleration and direction and speed to your unit by using the analog feedback. Whereas if your main control is WASD on the keyboard, you should be using the D-pad on the controller, because you have a discrete digital input with WASD. Either it's going forward or it's not. It's going left or it's not. It's right or it's not. Or back or it's not. And that's the same thing the D-pad does. You press it and it goes in that direction. You let go, it doesn't. And the joystick is just too imprecise. If you push forward and let go, it'll bounce back and send your guy back in the other direction. And you have to be careful about that. Now, if you added speed increases and buffs and stuff like that, where pushing forward on the joystick makes you go faster, that would be cool to have. But you have to have those, and you have to not allow keyboard control, because keyboards cannot recognize the analog input unless you have a specialized keyboard that does that. Most keyboards are straight digital. You press it, it presses a button against a contact on the keyboard's motherboard, and then it sends a signal that it's on. Then when you let go, it sends a signal that it's off. So keep that in mind. Now, I'd really like to see the evolution of the graphics as this game goes on. I think it would look pretty darned cool. And I'd also like to see a first-person version of this where you can actually get down inside the cockpit of your unit and look around. So that's where you use your mouse look and stuff like that, which is generally used for first-person shooters. But if you turn it into sort of like a first-person shooter and you can still left-click and paint your formation around you and keep yourself safe, that would be great. So that is my take on this game so far. I think it could be fun. I think it could be fun if once it gets further along, and I think it would be even better if some of these items that I have come across have been addressed. Oh, one of the other things, whenever your main guy dies, unless there's a way to bring him back, end the game. Don't just sit there and let the stuff keep going and going, leaving the person wondering how do you move the mouse? How do you get out of the game? Because hitting escape is fine, but there's no menu button to hit either. If it's a mouse control game, so you should have a menu button that you can click on as well. Everything should be mouse clickable in your user interface if you're going to use a mouse for input. Additionally, do not tie the camera to your main dude unless that is what you want and it's in first person view. If it's in third person, like it was, you need to have the camera available at all times. Because in one of the sandbox, or maybe it was defense, when the main dude died, I could still paint formation for units, but I couldn't look around. And if your goal is to have it tied to your main dude, make it a first-person shooter where you command troops. And if you're in a third-person view, always allow the mouse to move freely with the camera, because then you're just sitting there doing nothing but protecting a certain quadrant that you can see from your death screen. So unless there's a way to bring your dude back, end the game and bring it back to the to a game over, or enter your initials, or back to the main screen. But most likely a game over is necessary, and that is extremely easy to set up. All you have to do is check for character death, and if character death is true, game.end and game over screen.show, for instance. Going very rudimentary in Java or JavaScript or anything that has dot notation for object oriented programming. So, alright. I'm going to have to stop it here, and I'm going to give the game, as it stands, probably a 1.5 or 2 out of 5. It's not really finished, and I'm going over it to hopefully give information and tips and help out the devs as they work through the game. I can see this probably hitting up to a 5 if things are done the right way, but if things pretty much stay the way they are without much boosts or bump ups or anything like that, just graphic increases, then it's not going to go higher than a 2.5. Feel free to go ahead and yell at me. It doesn't matter. This is my opinion. This is how I feel about the game. I would not recommend playing it in its current state to anybody unless they're a beta tester trying to help out find bugs, or somebody who's trying to give advice on what they need to do next. And I will not play this particular version again. This is the official video announcement after starting this coming Tuesday, let me take a look at the calendar and see exactly which day that is. That is going to be Tuesday the 21st of October. I am going to start a midnight Eastern Standard Time live stream of games that I have done an IGLPR for. And it's probably going to be, each week is going to be dedicated to one game. We'll just play it and talk about it and have fun. Maybe the devs can show up and chat and stuff like that. But it's going to be a live stream event of a game each week. We're going to be going over Robot Robo Rally, Disco Dodgeball on the 21st and the 23rd, I think it was. The 21st and the 23rd. So we're going to have 2 live streams where I'm going to play just that game. I'm going to be getting a hold of the updated version of the game, and I'm going to do a revisit. And this will happen every week. I'll dedicate midnight at those 2, so long as I'm in town and I can actually live stream. So that's going to be happening, and when the live stream goes live, I will go ahead and blast out on Twitter, on Google Plus, and Facebook, and YouTube. Yeah, I'm really tired. And YouTube when that's happening. So you'll see the game that I'm going to do, and then we'll just get together and play. That's the long and the short of that. So until next time, enjoy playing games. I hope Protocol E becomes a game that I can say enjoy playing Protocol E. Right now I can't. Please like, favorite, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, where I go over a game as I first see it, as I first play it, and provide feedback to the devs. If you want to see more of these come out, please let me know in the comments. Please like, please favorite, and please subscribe. If you'd like to support me in doing more of these, getting more games into my hands, getting better recording equipment, and more time, please consider visiting my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/ExcaliburZone. That will, 1, help me a lot if you decide to support me, and 2, and more importantly, help out a bunch of people, because 1/2 of all net proceeds from Patreon supporters goes to charity. And it's something that I decided when I built my Patreon page, and that's what's going to happen. If you go there, you can take a look at all the milestones that I wish to accomplish. Keep in mind that the milestones include the fact that half of those milestones are going to charity. So if you see the $10,000 milestone, that's actually $5,000 to charity and then $5,000 to me, so that I can get better equipment and pay living expenses and start going to full time doing stuff like this. And so you won't just be helping me, you'll be helping out a bunch of people because of the charity thing. As always, this is Excalibur, and I am out.